Hi, my name is Victoria Patterson, and for my manager interview assignment for PRT 266, I interviewed Ms. Chrisman, the athletic director and a teacher at South Rowan High School. I look forward to telling you everything I learned from her throughout this video. So a little bit about Ms. Chrisman. Ms. Chrisman graduated from UNC with a major in exercise and sports science and physical education. She then went on to get her teaching license and teach PE and health for 15 years at South Rowan. During this time, she also coached several sports, including cheerleading and track. Her father was the AD at South Rowan during this time, so she learned a lot about the position by watching him do his job. Ms. Chrisman then went on to UNC Charlotte to get her master's in school administration. It was after she got her master's degree that she took over the AD position, and she has been working in that role at South Rowan ever since. So, according to Ms. Chrisman, her primary jobs include determining athlete eligibility, scheduling games, and supervising games. She does all the budgeting for the school's athletic department. She makes sure that their school is in compliance with the NCHSAA. She does a lot of time coordinating game day readiness, meaning making sure that the officials are staffed in there, that there are people taking tickets and admissions, and just making sure the area is in general ready for the game to be played. She also serves as the main liaison to the booster club and school administration. So I asked Ms. Chrisman how she spends the majority of her time in her job. She said the most time-consuming aspect of being an AD is spending a lot of time communicating scheduling and rescheduling in the events of inclement weather or other events to stakeholders. So this means not only does she make the main schedule for the season, but as things come up and if a game has to be canceled or moved, she has to communicate this change with the other school, coaches, players, parents, transportation officials, etc. She also spends a lot of time each day setting up for and supervising the different sporting events that are happening at her school. According to Ms. Chrisman, the skills needed to be a successful athletic director are organization, communication, attention to detail, flexibility, and the ability to prioritize as things like this come up. So, more skills and competencies. Ms. Chrisman works closely with the Athletic Booster Club at her school. She is also a member of many organizations that help her with her job, such as the North Carolina Coaches Association, North Carolina Athletic Directors Association, and the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrations Association. She also serves as a voting member on the NCHSAA Nominations Committee. So I asked Ms. Chrisman what the most rewarding part of being an athletic director is. She said that while it is rewarding to see teams win, especially when they've had to persevere to do so, the best part of her job is watching the student athletes become positive citizens and role models, and seeing them learn life lessons through sports. This is how she determines success in her job. However, challenges associated with being an AD that she mentioned are a lack of time, as she is also a teacher at the school, so being an AD is not the only priority she has. She sometimes has to deal with difficult adults and their complaints, and it's also a challenge because there's a lack of revenue and funds for athletic programs in public schools. So Ms. Chrisman had the pleasure of explaining to me a recent change that has occurred in her school that she has had to do a lot with as an athletic director. So at her school, they recently changed conferences. And the reason her school changed conferences was because there was a large decrease in their school population. So they went from a 3A school to a 2A school. So now they are luckily able to be much more competitive because they're playing schools with population sizes much closer to their own, and schools that have similar resources as them. However, travel has increased because these other 2A schools are not quite as local as the schools they used to play in their county. Additionally, this has been somewhat of a problem because now they only play one other 2A school that's in their Rowan County, which means that there are less local games, which means less people travel to South Orleans to watch games. So when they're playing schools that are farther away, those visitors are sometimes less likely to drive all the way out to their school to watch the athletes, which means they've noticed a decrease in admissions sales to sporting events because of this, they think. And this is a challenge because selling admission is one of the only ways that athletic departments can make revenue. So I also asked Ms. Chrisman about any changes she has noticed in high school athletics over the years where she has been involved. So the main change that she explained to me was participation. So as I spoke to before, a new school opened up only 6 miles away from South Orleans, which cut their student body population in half. So naturally, because there's less students, there's overall less participation now in sports. Additionally, she said that the socioeconomic status of the county, which this may be specific to South Orleans, but I'm sure other ADs have to deal with this as well, since some companies that used to be in the area have relocated, there are more and more kids that are having to work after school to support their families, which means they can't then participate in sports. Also, Ms. Chrisman noted that she thinks the reason less kids are participating in sports is because more and more kids are interested in video games and esports and not being introduced to play at a young age. So other changes in high school athletics that Ms. Chrisman mentioned, one of them was mindset. She said that now students, parents, and coaches all want instant gratification. There are more and more parents that blame coaches for their kids not getting playing time. Instead of in the past, she would notice parents pushing their kids to put in more effort in the weight room, etc. in the off season to earn that playing time. And she says that some of this comes from a sense of entitlement that she has noticed. So other changes in high school athletics. Sportsmanship, she says, has decreased overall from what she has seen. And she has also noticed more profanity, fighting, and inappropriate spectator behavior. And then because of all these reasons noted above, plus them not having much budget to pay coaches, she's noticed that it's been very hard to find quality coaches, which is a huge importance to her program because coaches are who can shape her student athletes into being these positive, productive adults, which is how she determines success. So again, another change has been attendance and revenue. Some of this is because of their recent conference change, but she says overall she has noticed less and less people coming out to games. She said that it used to be on Friday nights. Everyone in the county would come out to the football game, and now there's less attendance, which hurts her athletic program's budget, as admission is one of the only ways they are able to pay bills. So while some of these problems may seem negative, Ms. Chrisman stressed that her school has really persevered and jobs are constantly changing, industries are constantly changing, and that's why she said it's very important to be flexible in this position. So in response to these problems, she and her school have tried to do a lot to make athletics still relevant and successful. Some of these things include looking for ways to motivate students to participate in sports. She has done things to help students pay for equipment and transportation, including there have been times where she has taken students to and from practices herself because they didn't have a ride and she wanted them to be able to be on a team. She also hosts parent preseason meetings to discuss appropriate spectator behavior in an effort to decrease this negative behavior by adults sometimes. As always, they search for positive quality coaches, and she has tried to do some incentives to increase attendance at games, including selling discounted season tickets. So overall, I really enjoyed talking with Miss Chrisman. She is great at her job, and she was an awesome source to interview. I really enjoyed learning about the changes and some of the challenges facing athletics, especially in regards to South Rowan and the recent changes they just had to make with their conference, seeing how she has had to adapt to that, as well as hearing the way she has tried to solve some of these issues. It really related to me about the ethics and challenges presented in our textbook and how we as professionals are going to have to deal with things like that. So I learned overall that the athletic director job is challenging but very rewarding. I thought it was super important that Ms. Chrisman defined success as watching student athletes become good people, and that she said that is the main role of high school athletics, which is so important that it's not just about winning, it's about creating productive, good citizens. She also has to work with other organizations to be successful, so that teamwork and being a team player is really important. She must be organized and flexible, and just overall, sport is a changing industry, so be ready for changes. And then these are my sources, and thank you so much for watching my video. I really enjoyed interviewing Miss Chrisman, and I learned a lot about athletics. Thank you.